Santino Sunday Cigar Review. This week we're going to be doing the Undercrown Dogma, so stay tuned.
Get it.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to our review today. As Maddy mentioned, we're doing Drew Estate's Undercrown Sun-Grown Dogma, which is it a 5x54 box press? 5x54 box press. I want to give you a little background on the little history and makeup of the cigar, and then I'll go into some other details. So it's another Willie Herrera-inspired cigar. Of course, comes from that Nicaraguan region of tobacco, and Maddy will fill us in with the binder, wrapper, and filler. But it's interesting because it's a rare tobacco that's picked up in a rare region of Nicaragua. I'm going to butcher the name, but I think it's the Nueva Segovia region of Nicaragua. So I guess not a lot of tobacco produced from that region or grown from that region, but that's what's comprised this cigar. And did a little research and found out that originally debuted like in 2013, and there were 500 bundles of 10. And I believe they sold out in just a matter of hours. And then they got such a cult following that on the secondary market, those 10-count bundles were selling for $500. So I guess they shelved it, or for whatever reason, or maybe they didn't get another harvest. But now they reintroduced them. What, in 2019, 2020, and so the design, I think. What Drew Estate's intention was not to be an exclusive release, to be more their mainstream line, but it had such popularity, and so folks, we have it here at the store, but I don't really think it's not going to be really distributed because I guess there's not enough cigars to go around. So it's you'll find it very sparingly. You'll be lucky to find one box in most stores. Most stores probably won't even carry it at all, especially if you're not a Drew Estate diplomat, which we are here. So thought I'd give you a little background, but I'm going to hop right into it. So, Maddy, why don't you explain what it's comprised of, and then I'll start with a...
Yeah, sure. So this has an Ecuadorian Sumatran sun-grown wrapper on it. It's got a Connecticut River Valley Habano binder to it, and it's all Nicaraguan fillers. Now, what I've really been seeing about this cigar and what makes it different than the actual Undercrown Sun-Grown is that it's basically you take your regular Undercrown Sun-Grown and pick it up a notch in profile and flavor and everything, which is really fascinating because that's one of the things I've always heard about the Sun-Growns, is that they're a little bit too light for being a sun.
Well, and that's interesting. I'm going to dovetail off you a little bit because now I want to talk about. We haven't done this a lot on the show, but when people talk about strength or flavor or stuff, I think they get the categories mixed up, and maybe you can help me explain this to the viewers here. When you talk about smoking a cigar, there's three distinct characteristics. You've got flavor, strength, and body, and a lot of times those get intermingled, confused, and misaligned, and so people mistakenly just don't understand the three differences. But this cigar, flavor-wise, it's medium to full. Strength-wise, it's medium. Body is medium to full as well. So, study up on these things. It will help you figure out what cigars you like to smoke best if you can define the correct characteristics of a cigar, right? And that's what we try to do here. Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to hop right into this first third here. Of course, anything you get at, the Drew Estate Undercrown line is going to be superb, and this is obviously a more limited edition release. But what I'm getting, it's so creamy to me. It's got I taste a mild red pepper. I also taste what do you call those little red dot candies? They're like a cinnamon hot tamale. You get a little bit of undertone of that, and I love that we're getting close to Halloween. It tastes a little bit of a coffee bean. Not necessarily coffee flavor, okay, but a a coffee bean type. If you put it in your mouth, it may be a little strong. So I'm going to keep smoking this thing. Do you want to add anything before we?
I think I'm going to listen to you for a little.
All right. All right. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back, folks. I want to go back and describe what's going on with my cigar here. And this is not indicative of this cigar or the brand, Drew Estate, but it was self-inflicted by me this morning. So we were kind of rushed to get started, and I picked kind of an all-in-one cutter. I'm not sure if the audience can see this. It deal with 3 different cuts. You see these in your favorite cigar store online and all that. And so a lot of times those are general sizes. Well, because this is a 5x54 box press, that 54 box press is an unusually bigger size. And when they don't fit correctly in those all-in-one cutters or a really cheap cutter, when I cut it, it just unraveled the cap. And then Maddy has come up with a cool term that I'm going to continue to use. What do you call it? Then the cigar suffered.
Yeah, I call it trauma in the wrapper.
Trauma in the wrapper. And what's happened is because it was improperly cut with the wrong device or a poor device, it caused the wrapper to trauma, is what Maddy calls it, and it's just coming apart. Now, however, I'm smoking it, and it's still an excellent cigar. All the flavors I'm still getting them, but this is a perfect example, and I'm kind of glad it happened live here on the show. So you probably won't be able to notice it, but like I said, it's not indicative of this cigar, or really any cigar. It's more indicative of the proper tools and stuff.
For instance, for that cigar, if you're going to be getting into something that has a larger ring gauge, the Cigar this little specific model, I know a couple of our employees here at the store have them, it would be a really good choice because it's got a really wide profile for really thick ring gauge cigars, and honestly,
it's the best blades in the business. It's a supreme cutting blade, and it will not damage the cigar.
And even then, if you even go to your simple XI1s, they may not be thick enough as far as a ring gauge to fully accurately cut a cigar like that. So you have to be really careful and make sure that if you're going to be smoking these larger ring gauges, that you do have all of the proper tools and stuff, because otherwise your cigars will unravel like that. And it's just.
But like I said, look, it's holding a great ash. The cigar is coming apart, but the quality is still there. And the flavors, what I'm really enjoying about this Dogma is it's so complex in the flavors, but the flavors are so subtle. Nothing overpowers another. Everything seems to blend. So the cinnamon blends with the coffee beans, and the hot tamale candy taste, the red pepper, the nutmeg, all of it is just man, it's so well blended. It's one of the most delicious cigars I've probably had in a year. So I mean, and I think one of the big websites or companies named this, Cigar of the Year. I forget who it was. I don't get into all those, who labeled what the best cigar, top 10, top 20, but just been an amazing smoke. So stay tuned. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to get into some pros and cons, and
Y'all, while Mike's smoking a little bit further in, I'm going to actually discuss my pro and con for this. So my pro for this cigar is that it's got a really interesting blend to it. From what Mike's telling me, it's got some really great flavors to it. So that would be a huge pro for me. My con of this cigar is that it's not really readily available. And it's just really hard to come by. And it's really just...
It's a shame because it's such a great cigar. So, all right, well, for me, I'm going to, wrap up the last third of this cigar. And all I can really say, folks, is, people ask me when they come in the store, they always ask myself and Maddy what we like to smoke. And, I've struggled for about 6 months coming up with an honest answer to tell people, so I have to give them an honest answer. I said, I've been jumping around lately. I haven't really settled on anything. And I'm telling you, this cigar is just so darn, it's probably my favorite cigar in a long, long time. So, like I said, let's get back to the profile. It stayed so consistently smooth and tasteful. It's got so many cool flavors, and like I said, they don't come in and out like a lot of cigars. You know, as you smoke it, it changes and everything, and sometimes that's really cool. That's nice, but when you just want a consistently just great tasting cigar, I'm finding it here. So my pro would be just the unbelievable taste of this tobacco. My con is, I like Maddy's con. That's a fact that needs to be more readily available. But my con is, the size doesn't work for me. I don't like that 54-inch box press ring gauge. I'd like to see it come in a little smaller size or any other size. So hopefully, Drew Estate will get some feedback and hopefully you'll start seeing this cigar. But Maddy, why don't you wrap us up here?
All right, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for whenever you want to be notified of whenever we post a video. Make sure you check out our Facebook because we're always posting new stuff that's coming in the door, and it's just a great place to see what's happening here at Santino's. And that's good.
Yep, stay safe, everyone. And here at Santino's, we drink
We smoke.
and we know things.